Soundcast.
This is a Village Soundcast Network original production.
This is Less Than Live with Kate or Die, a bi-weekly podcast about comics from all angles. I'm going to talk to you about what I'm reading and doing in the industry, as well as interviewing some of my friends and favorite creators. So come along with me on this journey into geek culture. On today's show, I whipped through a bunch of titles I'm late catching up on because I was playing hooky in New York City. After that, we jump headfirst into an interview with Marvel artists Jake Wyatt, Kris Anka, and Kevin Wada. Welcome back to our fourth episode, and I am just so happy to see you. It's been very exciting over here. Right now, we are quietly, and although things do change, happy about the fact that we're kind of the top comics podcast in Canada, which is different than North America. I mean, we do live in the hinterlands, and seals and polar bears do roam free up here, but we have the internet, and things are going pretty well, which is very exciting. So thank you so much for listening, everybody who has been and who's been sharing this thing around and supporting us and asking questions and all of that. It's really cool. I have just gotten back from New York for the first non-comics related trip I have taken in a number of months. I went down with a group of friends to see Katy Perry and Hedwig and the Angry Inch on Broadway. I went to an unbelievably bizarre and incredible play called Sleep No More, where a total stranger put on lipstick and gave me a ring and made out with my neck. It was real weird. New York, right? I got to visit a number of comic shops while I was there. I got to go to Midtown. I got to go to St. Mark's Comics. I got to go to Forbidden Planet, which is probably one of my favorites. And I signed a bunch of copies of Bravest Warriors there, which was very cool. While this was going on, San Diego Comic-Con was also going on, and I was sad not to be there. I mean, I've never been, so I don't know if it's truly as terrible as they say, but it looked like a lot of fun, and a lot of people that I work with were there. You can't. I'm going to like 14 cons this year. I'm not really missing out on anything. But during the show, the Eisners happened, which are the biggest awards in comics. And a lot of people that I really like and admire and associate with intentionally were honored. Chip Zdarsky, who is the artist of Sex Criminals, as well as, of course, Matt Fraction, the writer, won for Best New Series. And that was really exciting. Chip has always been wonderful to me. Matt has been wonderful to me. That whole group of people are just fantastic. And it's such a great series. And it was really cool to see somebody win one of the industry's most prestigious awards for a comic that's full of jokes about dildos. So I'm happy. And I'm just giddy about it. It's great. There was a lot of Canadian representation. Fiona Staples won an award. Faith Erin Hicks, who's from Halifax, won for a best youth publication, which was really cool. And I'm very excited for her because she works harder than a lot of people in comics and puts out just some of my favorite graphic novels. So that was really, really great. And Jordi Belair, who is personally one of my favorite colorists, won, for being a colorist. It seems really obvious, but she's really great, and it's really exciting, because she works on so many things. Any comic where you pick it up and go like, hot damn, these colors are so great. 9 times out of 10, it's Jordi. I don't think that she sleeps. So that was really cool, and I was happy to see some people honored. And sounds like it was a really great show.
What is Kate reading?
What am I reading now?
What is Kate reading?
What am I reading now? I didn't get to read a lot of comics because I was traveling, and I didn't want to pick up my comics because I have my account at my own shop. So I was a week late reading Saga, which has never happened to me before. And I very rapidly read it on my lunch break today because I had to catch up. And that series is still one of the best series going. And every issue, there's at least one page that completely knocks me on my ass and just is like, how? And you can understand why this thing sweeps every awards show, and, you know, why Brian and Fiona achieve or are given, you know, all the accolades that they are. So it's totally deserved, and definitely, you know, pick it up. It's so good. I finally also got around to reading a couple other titles today. I've got the last issue of The Wake that I haven't read yet. I've got the newest issue of Velvet that I haven't read yet. They're all sitting on the table here teasing me. Trad Moore's last issue as the artist on Ghost Rider, which is kind of heartbreaking, is right here, and I don't know that I'm ready to let go. But the latest issue of Afterlife with Archie was like, I was on my lunch having a beer, because that's what an adult does, and reading Afterlife with Archie, and there's this spread, this panel that ends the issue that, like, I sat the thing down and just kept saying quietly to myself, God damn. Just God damn. Trying to explain this to my waitress, which, you know, is pointless. But that comic, I mean, it's hard not to love a series that is Riverdale in a zombie apocalypse, but it really goes to some dark and strange and unusual and incredible places with this issue. So if you manage to pick up the first trade paperback, or you're just not up to date with it, I highly recommend it. It features very heavily on Sabrina. The Lovecraftian influence is so strong that there is literally a character called Dr. Lovecraft in the issue. And I think it's all kind of leading up to this new Sabrina series that's going to be starting in the fall that I'm very excited for. And, you know, there's been this whole Life with Archie thing where Archie gets shot and dies. And I try to keep everything on this very positive, but I don't know how I feel about it. I've read it. It's not for me. And the fact that Afterlife, if you could choose Life with Archie or Afterlife with Archie, go with Afterlife with Archie. I guarantee you will have a lot more fun. Also, this week were a couple of books. The Craig Russell adaptation of Neil Gaiman's The Graveyard Book came out, which is an absolutely wonderful book. And Craig Russell did the adaptation of Coraline, which was beautiful. So I suspect this is going to be beautiful. Jim Rugg's re-release of Street Angel looks fantastic. The spine of the book has a switchblade on it, so that looks like it's going to be really great. And Eleanor Davis, one of my favorite artists, also has a book out called How to Be Happy. And if you're a fan of people like Lisa Hanawalt or Britt Wilson or Kate Beaton, or just kind of offbeat illustrators in that way, a little bit of watercolor, a little bit of pen and ink, a little bit of pencil. It's kind of all over the place in terms of tone and in terms of style, but in the most delightful way. I mean, she is absolutely a master of her craft, and in terms of watercolor, it's not like it's experimental. You know, everything is very intentional, but it's very good. Some of it is fictional, some of it seems a little more autobiographical, some of it's just straight up weird, but especially if you liked Lisa Hanawalt's book, My Dirty Dumb Eyes, I think you will love Eleanor Davis's book. So definitely check that out. And I can't even imagine the slew of things that are going to come out post San Diego, but that's what I'm loving. And I'm, you know, stoked to be reading.
She's so sweet. Caleb is gonna answer your tweets.
Someone who goes by Actual Crystal Gem, which is an absolutely charming name, asks, I just started art school and I never have time anymore. How would you suggest finding time for my own stuff? Also, love the podcast. I feel like maybe it's unnecessary to say that, but it's nice to read. Well, Crystal Gem, which I assume is your real name, it can be totally difficult. I went through a couple of years of art school and definitely found that I wasn't drawing a lot for myself. Classes that had me doing a sketchbook or, you know, completing a certain amount of assignments definitely made me feel like I was kind of forced to draw my own stuff. But I understand. I mean, especially if you're also having to work to put yourself through school, you lose out on a lot of free time. One thing that I recommend is establishing it as part of a routine. You know, if you go for coffee for 20 minutes in the morning, take part of that time to use a sketchbook. I mean, I'm assuming when you say working on your own stuff, you're making your own comics or drawing your own, you know, just drawing for yourself, which is really important. You know, you make time out of the day to do specific things. Like I make time out of the day to watch Adventure Time. I make time out of the day to go for a walk and get coffee. And I think, it's difficult to establish time for yourself to draw because it feels like it falls at the bottom of your priorities. But it can be very important to do, and it's definitely a way to improve fairly quickly. So, even if you're really, really busy, if you're completely honest with yourself, there are days when you do fuck all and you watch 19 episodes of some dumb thing on Netflix. So if you can do that, then you can take 20 minutes in a day, 30 minutes in a day, and just draw, go sit on the side of the road or go to a coffee shop or go hang out in a park or even in your own house and just draw. And it can be really hard the same way as, taking a mental health day or taking time to be nice to yourself is difficult, but just do it. Make it a routine, make it important. And I think you'll feel a lot better about yourself. Ian Crowell asks, what is your favorite or a good recommendation of a film or TV series that has continued or been adapted into a comic series? I started into comics with the adaptations of Buffy, which I really, really loved for the first 6 volumes until it got really weird. So I have enjoyed that a lot. As somebody who's working on a lot of adapted and licensed properties, I have learned a new appreciation for it. I think I used to look at it a little bit critically, but there's so much good stuff out there. A ton of all ages properties especially are based off of cartoons. I love Adventure Time. I love Regular Show. The Powerpuff Girls series that Troy Little did was really great. So a lot of those are a ton of fun. Some of the stuff is a little weird. There's comics based on Jericho or Vampire Diaries that are maybe not the best, but there's a lot of good stuff out there. I definitely find that cartoons translate the best because you're already working in an animated format. So I would lean towards those in any situation. I think Buffy did a really great job, and the fact that it's the first thing to jump to my mind and I'm actually having a hard time thinking of anything else, I think really says a lot. I really like that every episode, at least one of my friends asks a question. One of my good friends, Lauren Jordan, asked, do you have any favorite autobio, journal, or memoir comics? And I definitely do. Autobio comics are one of my favorite genres. I love people's weird secret shit in their dark sides. And I got into a lot of it through Jeffrey Brown. I think a lot of people do through stuff like Clumsy and Every Girl is the End of the World for me, which is good stuff. But, after a while, you definitely want a little bit of variety. And I've read all kinds of stuff. I read, Julia Wertz's comics. I really enjoyed, especially as they got darker and darker. There was something very identifiable about them. And, for anybody who hasn't read her comics, it's, they started out very silly. But then, they got really personal. I think as she struggled with a lot of alcohol addiction and various other real life problems and breakups and stuff like that. And as it got more honest, I got more into it. My friend Jess Fink has a really great book called We Can Fix It that is about her going back in time to solve all of her problems, blunders, and missed opportunities for sweet makeouts throughout her history in a hot spacesuit. So it's a memoir comic, but it's also really silly, and I like that a lot. It's definitely some of my favorites. Every year people do participate in something called, Hourly Comics Day, which are some of my favorite comics that come out all year. People just write down a short comic for one thing that happens every hour for a day or for as long as they're awake. And I love those. Every year I read the roundups of, the hundreds of different entries to them, and they're always so much fun. My friend Anthony Clark, who does, Bear Tato, who goes by Nedroid on the internet, does the most amazing ones every year. I mean, everybody knows it. His are the funniest. There's just no getting around it. So I really like those. And there's a lot that I've found kind of by accident or just seen parts of online. There's a girl who has a comic online called I Do Not Have an Eating Disorder, which is crazy personal. And I've been following her stuff for a while, and it's very dark and very personal and like kind of painful to read sometimes, but I'm a sucker for that. So I really like it. And I find like I'm always coming across more, especially on Tumblr and on different social media sites where people will kind of unexpectedly be like, hey, here's this weird, insanely depressing thing or this really horribly personal moment in my life. And yeah, I love it. But those are definitely some of my favorites. Erica Moen's comics are amazing too. Kate Beaton's comics that she writes about when she's home with her family, her momics, as she refers to them, are fantastic and crazy adorable. And, you know, everything runs the gamut between really sad and personal and depressing and adorable and charming. And I like pretty much everything in between. Sean asks the incredibly deep and enlightened question, which of the Avengers has the nicest butt? Which is great. I mean, yeah, I feel like this is a really simple answer because, I mean, I assume, which I shouldn't, because as I witnessed a woman tell a cashier in a Kmart in the southern United States recently, not everybody don't got a computer. But I would say if you have access to podcasts, you have seen the Avengers films. You're a comics person. You have seen that part where Captain America is punching that punching bag. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. I don't care your orientation. Look, I never did. But you have seen the shape and dynamics of Chris Evans' posterior, and would I blame you? No, I can't. I'm not held responsible for my actions and reactions to that scene. I commenting any further would be incredibly objectifying. You know what I'm saying? I think we can all just let it rest on that.
Are you ready for this? Kate needs a mansion, needs a Porsche, needs some Prada. Kate wants a yacht to party with Kaiju in the water. It's a Gucci and Armani, she's a real fashion monster. So have a listen to our sponsor.
This glorious podcast is brought to you by Audible.com, where you can get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/lessthanlive. There are over 150,000 titles to choose from on whichever platform tickles your fancy. I spent 30 solid minutes this week watching and rewatching the trailer for the adaptation of Joe Hill's novel Horns, starring sexy grown-up Harry Potter. And it looks amazing. If you're a fan of Lock and Key or just good horror stories, you can download the audiobook of Horns as well as some of Joe's other books like 20th Century Ghosts and Nosferatu for free, just by typing a short series of characters. I swear, it's not that hard. To download your free audiobook today, go to audibletrial.com/lessthanlive. That's all caps, all party. But enough about that. Let's move into the interview. This week, I'm talking to Kevin Wada, Jake Wyatt, and Kris Anka, who, alongside being Marvel artists, are also contributors to a website called Project Rooftop, which is run by Dean Tripp and is dedicated to the reimagining and reinterpretation of superhero costumes. It's definitely one of my favorite sites, and you should check it out.
Kate's gonna interview you. Kate's gonna interview you now. She's gonna ask a question. Kate's gonna interview you. Kate's gonna interview you now. This is the interview section.
All right, so we are here with 3 guests today, which is pretty exciting. The first person that we're talking to is Kris Anka, who had an issue of Uncanny X-Men out today and is also a regular contributor to a whole bunch of X titles and works at Marvel. Hi, how are you?
I am doing well. How are you?
I'm great. We also have Jake Wyatt, who did the most recent issue of Miss Marvel, as well as number 7, which will be out towards the end of August, and has done a whole bunch of different awesome things. So, hey, Jake.
Hi, Kate.
How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm wearing headphones. How are you?
Good. It's the only real rule. And our unexpected but delightful guest is Kevin Wada to sort of complete the circle. Kevin is one of my favorite artists and does the covers for She-Hulk, which are fantastic, and is also, an illustrator, does a lot of X-Men and various different superhero redesigns. So, hi, Kevin.
Hi, Kate.
Hi. So you guys are all amazing, and I feel like it's really appropriate seeing as the last episode we did with Babs Tarr. And the first thing I was asked to bring up by Kris is the Super Best Friends Club.
Oh, yeah.
So tell me about that.
Want me to do it?
Yeah,
Okay.
Kris brought us together.
So, God, how do we even get to Heroes? So we were like, Jake and I were signing up to do the Heroes Con thing, and we applied and all that jazz. And then Rico, and then I think we said it on Twitter that we're like officially like going to it. And then Kevin was like, "Oh my God, jealous, blah blah." Like being Kevin.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
And then Rico emails me and goes, "Hey, if you can get Kevin to come, we'll give you an extra table." So then we asked Kevin, and Kevin agreed, and that's we began the budding. And the Super Best Friends Club that was my email thread that I made about all of our plans for Heroes. And then later on, I don't really remember how it happened, but Babs was able to like shoot her way into this, and I kind of don't remember what she did.
She just showed up. She just showed up and was glittery. Like she just showed up wearing like glittery makeup and smiling, and we're like, okay.
Yeah, basically, and then I think I emailed Rico about getting her into it, and then he agreed as well. And then so we got Babs, and then it just kind of spun out of that, and then we all got our own tables, then it became a big deal, and then now we just kind of stuck with the name because it's kind of ridiculous.
Because it's true, it's accurate.
It did, like because most of us didn't meet until Heroes Con itself, and like within like 5 minutes of Kevin showing up, like it all fit into place.
Yeah, I was wondering about that because, I mean, it had been kind of this thing that you guys were a table, which was really cool because obviously you all go very well together. But, I mean, that was pre-Batgirl Babs, too. So it's like a whole different world.
Yeah, we knew her first. We knew her first.
Yeah.
Right. There's pre-Batgirl and post-Batgirl. We're in a post-Batgirl world now. She's blown up.
Which is really exciting.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I was really happy about all of that.
And in retrospect, kind of inevitable, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's really, I mean, kind of crazy because you guys all work for Marvel in various different ways. I mean, you know, that's kind of the primary. Are any of you guys doing work with DC, or is it all Marvel?
Oh, I've never done work for DC.
Okay.
I do Image and Boom stuff sometimes, but...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, I mean, it's kind of surprising that she sort of went to the other camp. But it is really awesome. And, yeah, I'm stoked for her. So that was kind of crazy. So now you guys are kind of doing that for shows as like a collective.
Yeah, well, it's just so much more fun to go with people that you like. And this group has really good chemistry. We were actually missing Kevin pretty hard in San Diego because it just wasn't the same. Like even no, I'm serious. Like even 3 out of 4, like dinner got kind of quiet and like everybody just kind of looked at each other and Babs was like, I miss Kevin.
Oh,
yeah.
What a cute story.
True story.
Okay, it's true.
It is true. We even took a photo of us being sad at dinner.
And sent it to Kevin?
Yeah.
Jake wouldn't post it because he looks demonic in it.
I looked so bad. I've never looked more frightening in my entire life.
Were you ready for that photo?
He was. Like we had a waitress take it for us.
The world was not ready for that photo. I wasn't aware of the effect that the overhead lighting was having on my heavy caveman-like brow.
Dude, you gotta find the light. Always find the light when you're posting for a photo.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Yeah, because I wasn't. So Kevin, you're not in LA? Like, where are you based out of?
San Francisco.
Oh, so why weren't you at San Diego? I mean, I have an excuse. I'm in the East Coast of Canada.
I know. We were actually just talking about that, apparently, when they were trying to coerce me to go down. Granted, not with too much notice. I told them I was going to be out of town. And then they asked me about 10 minutes ago.
How's your trip, Kevin?
I was like, what? What trip?
How was your vacation?
I fessed up. I lied my way out of it. It just would have been an ordeal to get down there in such short notice.
That makes sense.
But I mean, I would have had a blast. But as Jake was talking about earlier, it's a lot of money too. So got to make some money before I can spend some.
Well, Heroes is a relatively inexpensive show. I mean, even for me, like I was traveling pretty far and it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, and we're all planning on doing it again next year too.
Yeah, yours was so much fun.
It was awesome. That was such a good show. Like, definitely one of the best. And I mean, I feel like really lucky because I got to go to Emerald City and Heroes, and those were both so awesome. So you guys should go to Emerald City.
No, we're trying to take the Best Friends Club on the road to Emerald City next year. We have an email thread about that. I can't tell you the title yet; it's still secret. But
is it in reference to your best friendship?
I can't even remember. Like the road to Emerald City.
I'm trying to look at it. No, it's just ECC. We got really uncreative with that one.
Uninspired. We may not attend.
I think this was right after Heroes, so we were just burnt out.
Yeah, no creative titles for that one, but we really want to do it.
That would be really great. I think you should. You guys should do a panel or something. I will go and just like sit there and just gawk.
I have daydreamed about that for one reason or another. I was like, what if all four of us were on a panel together? And I have no idea what the theme of that panel would be.
Yeah, what would we talk about besides each other, though, right? Like, what would we...
It would be so much fun, though. But I don't know what one thing kind of like unites us that like somebody could moderate a panel on.
I was actually thinking about, I don't know about Jake, but me, Kevin, and Babs are all Project Rooftop people.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
especially
which is something that I totally wanted to ask about, too, because you guys are all really into, superhero redesigns, whether or not through Project Rooftop. So I feel like that's something you could totally do.
Yeah, that would be a lot of fun. Jake, you gotta get up in this game.
How do I even do that? I don't know how that's done.
Just redesign someone and then email it to Dean.
Done.
Exactly. Just put Miss Marvel in like shorts or something. Just one time.
I'm going to do a 90s sexy Miss Marvel.
Oh, God.
And everyone's going to appreciate it.
Miss Marvel in a crop top.
Yeah.
That'll go over.
We have our panel. Yay.
To ensure that I get invited back to the book, yeah.
I hope that you do. That would be awesome. I was such a surprise for me, too, because, like, we had just I had been talking to Kris about doing this for a little while, and then Miss Marvel came out, and Jake, I didn't know that you were doing that issue. Yeah, and so I picked it up, and I'm looking through it. I'm like, wow, this is really fun, because sometimes they will get a replacement artist on a comic, and for a couple issues, you just kind of have to like grit your teeth and get through it.
That's sad.
No, it's so much fun. And so then when I got it, I was like, oh shit, yes, this is great. No,
I'm so glad that was your reaction.
Oh yeah, no, it's so much fun. It's so much fun. For anybody listening who is not reading it, the fill-in issues for Miss Marvel also feature some really, really fun interactions between her and Wolverine, which was very unexpected, but it also works really well. So that was neat.
Little script for that was insanely fun. I was so excited when I got my pages in.
Yeah, and they look really cool. So that was exciting.
Thank you.
You're
Yay,
welcome.
Jake.
So did you guys, did you all come to Marvel kind of, because I know, Kris, you've been working for them for quite a while.
Yeah, 4 years.
Yeah. So did you all come to it, around the same time or like independently?
Yeah, I feel like I came. So I was working on Ninja Turtles with Kris.
Okay.
Here in Burbank, America. And he was already doing like covers and redesigns and stuff for Marvel. Which is one of the reasons we became friends, is it was sort of like de facto. Like Kris didn't even like me when we met. Like, and I could tell, and I kind of like antagonized him with friendship.
Lord, no. God.
But we both like comics, right? So like, and shortly after I left Ninja Turtles, Nick Lowe got in touch with me right around the time that Kris was starting to do interiors. Nick Lowe's an editor at Marvel and asked me to do interiors.
Well, he asked us to do interiors on the exact same series, too, which is the weirdest thing.
Yeah, Kris did issue 1 and I did issue 2. And it was totally unplanned. He didn't know that we knew each other.
Oh, that's cool.
So it was fate.
Oh, God.
Which is why we're the founding members of the Best Friends Club.
They are the glue, the backbone.
Well, that's pretty great. And so, yeah, because Kevin, you got, was it just the She-Hulk? Was that the first stuff that you had done for them?
Excuse me. No, I did a variant cover for the first issue of the relaunch of X-Men.
That's
with
true.
all-female lineup, and I did that, oh gosh, what was that, like a year ago now?
Yeah.
I think.
See, I sound like an idiot for saying that because that was the background on the Valkyries Facebook page for like 8 months.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then it kind of went like radio silent for a while, and they emailed me out of the blue, and they're like, "We found something that we think you'd be perfect for," and I obviously took it, and I'm gonna keep it for as long as they'll let me have it.
You're owning it. It's pretty much yours, man.
Oh, thanks, Jake.
They're so great. Those She-Hulk covers are some of my favorite things. I mean, it's an awesome series, and I love Javier Pulido's art. I'm excited to have him back on the next issue. It's just, I was very excited about that because, I mean, just like with Kevin, you specifically, and Babs, I had been following your stuff online for a long time. So it's so neat to see people go from, somebody that you followed on DeviantArt or Tumblr to like drawing superhero comics. It's really neat. I don't know. There's something really cool about the fact that can happen now because of the internet and social media.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, and I like that it's made fan art like instead of okay, because when I feel like when I was coming up, fan art was pretty denigrated universally, right? Like fan art and fan fiction were inherently bad, like in everybody's minds, and fan art has become like a stepladder, right? Like I draw this thing as a fan because that's how I got my Marvel job. Is that Niccolo saw some ex-kid like school uniforms that I designed like years ago. Just some little fan arts. And I was like, hey, would you like to do some real arts? And I was like, well, yes. Thank you. And I think that it's, because, yeah, I like fan art. I like fan culture. I feel like owning the property is fun. And it's made it like a smart decision, too, not just a fun one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, so you have done redesigns.
Oh, yeah, but never for like a thing or for like a site, just because I was like, what if they wore cute school uniforms like Harry Potter? That's all.
That totally counts.
That counts?
It totally counts.
Totally.
Okay.
Welcome to the panel.
Oh, yay!
I'm taking credit for this when it happens at Emerald City, by the way.
We'll call it redesigning your way into a job, is what we'll call it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's how we all got our jobs.
Oh, shit, really?
Yeah. I think we all got our jobs through either redesigns or fan art.
I think you're right.
I think, and Nick Lowe just making really weird hiring decisions.
That guy, just doing whatever he wants. Not even worrying about the consequences.
I think superhero comics needs that a little bit.
I agree.
Somebody who will do that stuff.
It's working out for him, too.
Well, it feels like there's a ton of change. I mean, I've only been working in a comic shop for 4 years because I have a day job as a civilian. And that's how I got into comics, was working at a comic book store. And then posting fan art on Tumblr. So basically the same thing. It really does feel like Marvel is pushing, at least not in all of the titles, but in some of the titles, to be fun again. And you guys are all kind of part of that in different ways, which I think is really cool. And now Babs is part of that at DC. So that's really neat. And I hope it kind of follows the same path. I hope she kind of kickstarts something over there. Between that and like Gotham Academy and everything else, that's, that'll be cool.
It'll be interesting to see where that goes.
And me too. I really hope these do as well as everybody anticipates, because I'd love to see that kind of change with DC's characters and properties.
Yeah, that would be really fun. It would be fun. It would be fun to shake it up because, I do like that Marvel's kind of taking risks with this stuff. And I mean, those She-Hulk covers, like, I guess if you look back on sort of those older New Mutants covers and stuff like that, they've definitely done some really weird things, but not in a while. And it's cool.
Also, it's cool just not this many titles of it at the same time.
No.
Yeah, man. It seems like everything at once. Like Tradmore stuff on Ghost Rider.
Oh my God.
Just is some of the freshest comics I've seen in forever.
Somebody told me today that he's leaving that series.
It's true.
I think today was his last issue.
That makes me so sad.
I know.
I love his art so much. Because I would never have read Ghost Rider, as a person. It's just not a character I'm super into. But I had loved his stuff on Luther Strode, and then so I was really excited. And then someone told me that today, and I'm like standing at the counter going like, oh, fuck.
Just crying. Crying, holding on to the issue.
It's a sad day for Ghost Rider. It's a sad day for comics.
Yeah.
What's he moving on to? Do you guys know?
I think he's going back to Luther Strode, right?
Maybe. Someone said he was doing creator-owned stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's going to Image.
Which, I mean, I can understand, but damn, those Ghost Rider issues were good. And the covers, too.
And yeah, I was going to say that they hired Felipe to write it and do the covers. Like, they were like, hey, manga guy, come write Ghost Rider with this weirdo. It was so good.
Yeah. It's neat. So, Jake, I mean, I know you did those Miss Marvel issues. Are you doing more stuff with them, or is it... Because I know you're working on Necropolis, yes?
Yeah, so I'm actually maybe thumbnailing right now my my last issue of, like, The Stint with Marvel. And I'm doing an issue for their Spider-Verse event with Gerard Way.
Oh, cool.
Which is pretty neat, yeah. And it's like a spider mech kind of thing. It's a bunch of alternate universe Spider-Mans, and ours is a little girl named Penny Parker, who's half Japanese and pilots a robot. It's gonna be awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
There's a guy in this, Jason, one of the guys who records our podcast, just thrust his fists in the air.
Yeah, I'm like conceptually, I'm really pumped for it, and I've been looking at my Atomo, and I really like Gerard's script so far, so we're having fun.
That's really fun. I love that he's such a comic book nerd.
Oh, he's a really like specific writer too, like the kind of dude where like you made a lot of comics in high school on notebook paper, didn't you? You really know how this works.
That's awesome. It's really cool. I just started sort of connecting and talking with him on Twitter, and it was fun watching him be like really excited about the Eisner like awards coming out. I'm like, oh yeah, right. You're so into this, which is awesome.
Yeah, because you wouldn't think with like with a profile like that, but he was saying that he gets more intimidated talking to like comics people that are famous than rock stars. He's like, oh no, my high school comics hero. However shall I behave?
I can understand that. I feel like I would be kind of the opposite way because, I mean, we all deal with comics people all the time, so it's not as crazy, but there are definitely some writers and musicians that I would be terrified to talk to. It just depends on where you work.
Yeah, I guess so.
But
I still do pretty badly with artists, though. I've embarrassed myself in front of way more artists than movie stars.
Like who?
Oh, man. I'm trying to think of anybody. Like, I can't talk to Mike Mignola. Like I went to his booth this year at Comic-Con and like gibbered and like gave him like an old gift card instead of a credit card, and it got declined, and I almost cried. Like gave him my business card. Like I see like Rob Lowe or whoever like in a restaurant, and I'm like, hey bro, can I have your seat? Like I don't care. But I meet Mike Mignola at Comic-Con, and I'm almost taken to tears because I used the wrong card.
I love that Rob Lowe is your go-to celebrity.
Has he used that more than once?
Yeah, because I've seen Rob Lowe twice, and both times I was trying to take his seat. Like, both times I was like, it was like, because there are a lot of, like, LA's terrible, and so there are a lot of restaurants where you just wait for hours to get in. And I've had Rob Lowe's, like, butt warmth on my butt, like, twice now, because apparently he likes the same kind of bad soul food that I do.
Oh, my gosh.
I've had Lena Headey wait for my table before.
Oh, that's awesome.
I felt very empowering. Because I think we went to dinner right after watching Game of Thrones, and then there she was.
wow.
It's like, yeah.
That's a trip.
Yeah, that's right. I got this seat.
I'd be pretty intimidated by that. I think I would get up and run away if Cersei Lannister were at my table.
Like, even if you were halfway through eating.
Yeah, I'd be, well, I'll just take the rest to go, thanks.
I gotta go. I gotta get out of here right now.
Because, like, what if she has the next course poisoned, right? Like, you don't know. You don't know what's going to happen.
Well, it's also like it doesn't even have to be Cersei. It could be even like her from 300 or her from Dread. Like,
Oh man,
Yeah.
her from
Just her
Dread
in
is
general,
pretty
you're just like, oh my
terrifying.
God.
Oh, I loved her there so much. It took me like half the movie to figure out who she was.
Yeah, they did not make her pretty, which I kind of respect,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get a woman that, like, commanding and beautiful and make her look ugly and really terrifying. Just doesn't happen a lot in movies. So that was pretty cool. Okay, so now I want more stories of artists or people you have embarrassed yourself in front of, because that one with the gift card is pretty good.
Oh, man, I don't know.
I have a good one with Olivia Claypool, if you want.
Oh, let's do it.
So we met him. I met him last San Diego, and Niccolo was organizing a dinner for a few of the Marvel artists with C.B. Cebulski. And he texts me and Mark Brooks and goes, hey, like, I don't have Olivia's number. Can you guys, like, tell him the information for the dinner? And I text Mark, I'm like, Mark, you're literally 10 feet from him. Can you tell him like what's going, because it would take me the entire convention to get over to the other side. And apparently Mark never got that text. So then when we all met up for dinner that night, they're all asking like, "Oh, did you guys like let Olivia know?" And Mark was like, "I didn't. I thought Kris was gonna do it." I'm like, "No, I do. I texted you about that." So apparently no one had ever contacted Olivia about this. And so we were at dinner, and everyone was just making jokes about the fact that like Olivia was just going to be late because they finally were able to make contact with him. And they're like, "Oh, it's just Olivia. He's going to be like 3 weeks late anyways." And then Olivia finally shows up at dinner and just like cusses me and Mark out for like not telling him what.
Oh God.
Like where I mean jokingly, but he's like, just like, you know, coming in, you know, this gorgeous black guy just cussing at us in French. We're just like, oh shit, what do we do? What do we do?
He drew the relaunch of X-Men.
Yes.
Is that okay with Brian Wood?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy.
And it's important to the story that Olivier Coipel is like Chris's end all be all of like of comic art. That dude.
Right.
It was a surreal night.
Yeah.
Man.
Anybody else?
Can I tell you one if I don't give a name?
If you what? If you don't give a
That
name?
means it's good. That means it's juicy.
Yeah. So
You can dance around it.
I'll dance around it. We'll just call this person. We'll call this person Jen. There was a comics creator named Jen who I was like a big fan of in like high school and then in college, and like followed her blog and had seen her pictures. And at like my first San Diego Comic Con, which was like 2007, I went to the booth and like recognized her from her photos. I was like, "Hey Jen, will you sign this comic?" And she was like super freaked out that I just like knew her because she didn't have her badge. I guess she was just like there visiting, and she's like, I just walked away, like got nervous and walked away.
Oh my God.
And then later I saw her on the street and I was like, "Hey Jen, will you sign this comic?" And she was like, "I'm with friends," and like walked away again. And I was like, "Oh no!" And my wife was like, "Why did you do that to that person?" And I was like, "She's cool." I thought she was like, "Jake, be cool, man. Don't attack people outside the con." And I was like, "Okay, I'm sorry." And then years later, I'm at a dinner after like WonderCon or Ape or something in San Francisco, and I'm invited. Like she's at this dinner too, and I like just didn't know whether or not she remembered that I was like the creepy stalker kid from years ago, and so I just tried to play it really cool. Yeah, but which was basically not speaking to her or making eye contact even when she spoke to me.
That is so cool.
Anyway, so I embarrassed myself a lot.
I've definitely done it a couple of times at TCAF probably 2 years ago. So before like I'd really done anything of note, I was wearing a badge that just said like they had like, you know, "Hey, my name is," and it just said Kate. And so everyone kept coming up to me and going like, "Oh my God, you're Kate Beaton." And it happened like 7 or 8 times. And I was starting to feel really bad because I was letting people down, but also surprised because I had black hair and a ton of tattoos and was wearing like some shirt with a skull on it and like fishnets. And I'm just like, you know what she looks like, right? And so eventually I changed the tag to say not Kate Beaton, sorry. And which was really funny. And then as soon as I walk outside, I bump into her boyfriend at the time who looks at my tag and is like, What? Why do you have that? And I'm just like, and then I turn around and like I have a Kate Beaton tattoo on the back of my arm. And he looks at it and he's like, What's happening? Who are you? And at this point I feel very like talented Mr. Ripley. And I'm like, I gotta go outside. And so I walk outside and walk directly into Kate Beaton.
Yes.
Who points at my shirt and just goes, "I like your name tag," and then walks inside. It was fine. I mean, we became friends and it's fine. But at the time, it was mortifying.
No, that's a good one.
Thank you. I feel pretty proud of that moment in my life.
Kevin, have you ever embarrassed yourself?
Yeah, Kevin, you must have at some point.
No.
I have many times, but in this particular prompt, I'm trying to think. I haven't been at enough events to embarrass myself. I'm sure my time will come. Do I have one?
Kevin's never going to embarrass himself.
No.
People embarrass themselves to Kevin.
I've embarrassed myself to Kevin.
I will embarrass Kevin's self is what will happen.
Yeah. I embarrassed myself in front of Kevin at Heroes Con. I'm still like,
really?
I still,
you did not.
it keeps me up at night occasionally.
You did not. What?
I think I was just really nervous. I get like that with people. I don't know. So I'm probably lying because I do with certain artists. I was very nervous to meet Babs.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I came up to her and she was like, and I hate doing that thing where she's like, oh, yeah, hi. And when, because I mean, when you meet someone as an artist and they don't know you by name or appearance, you have to do that kind of like, hey, I'm more than just a fan. I work in this business too, which always makes you feel like kind of a dick. So when I met Babs, I had to be like, no, but really, like, we're friends on Twitter.
Did she just like look you up and down or like, yeah, no?
She was like, okay.
Oh yeah, Babs is sweet and nice too, man. Like there's just
Yeah, no, we had mutual friends, and then as soon as our mutual friend Betty came over, she's like, oh, okay. You're cool. Which is fine. And, I get a little shy around people. But Kevin, now like your time will come.
Yeah. I look forward to it. I look forward to embarrassing myself because I get starstruck no matter the level of like movie star, artist, whoever, whatever industry you're a star of. I'm starstruck very easily and flabbergasted.
Well, is there like an artist that you want to meet? That you think you would be starstruck by? Because we'll make it happen.
yeah.
Because I want to watch that.
Well, see, now I'm not going to tell you.
You should.
Yeah, you're on air. Like, come on.
Come on.
I know. No, I don't know.
Give me the scoop.
I guess someone who I really would like to meet, and I could have met at Heroes, because I do believe he was there, was Tim Sale.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think he was there, yeah.
And I was like, oh, he's like, people kept telling me like, oh yeah, he's just down a ways. And I kept telling myself I was going to go buy the table, but then I conveniently always forgot because I think I was afraid.
Next time we're at a con together, it's happening.
Yeah, okay, next time. I have my best friends behind me.
Or in front of you, holding Tim Sale's hand, being like, this is the man.
Say hi.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess the question goes for Jake and Kris too. Like, who would you be? I mean, in the world of comics specifically, like terrified, but also completely excited out of your brain to meet.
I'm still scared of Paul Pope. I spent 3 weeks in a compound with Paul Pope, like at this artist residency thing, and like several of my best friends were in his group, and I was in Craig Thompson's group, and like I sat next to and did karaoke with Paul Pope and never spoke to him ever in 3 weeks. So I'm still scared of Paul Pope. Super scared.
How many times did he wear leather pants?
Twice. But he mostly wore jeans. But yeah, he had like this great Mick Jagger vibe the whole time. That was scary and intimidating.
Yeah, that is an intimidating vibe. What about you, Kris?
I'm thinking. I'm not really sure because I think I've met most of them.
Oh.
I'm looking around my room for things. And I've had this weird kind of luck where I just keep getting thrown into situations where I actually meet a bunch of these guys. Yeah, not too much. I can't really think of anybody. This is weird. That's weird.
I can't imagine you getting starstruck.
I've only,
especially now that you're famous because of that photo.
Exactly. I was like, I don't get. Yeah, I've only ever been like, I was kind of starstruck when I met Chris Evans. I was totally starstruck when I met Kobe Smulders, and that's about it. Because at least with artists, like I've had at least the fortune of working long enough where no matter kind of who I meet, there is in some way a reference of they'll know who I am. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't get awkward for me too much. Unless they're like a total dick and I don't even try. So I mean, at least like guys. I mean, like you know, I'm working with Bendis now, and Olivia knew who I was. So like you know, like these like big name comic guys that kind of know of me in a way. So I never really exactly get starstruck. I mean, it's awkward when you first try to introduce yourself, of course, just because I'm nothing and they're everything. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really get starstruck too much.
I think the best situation is when you meet somebody and you're totally terrified to meet them, and then they're like, "Oh my god, yeah, I love your stuff." I love that feeling.
Yeah, that's best case scenario.
Yeah,
That's a good time.
Well, then sometimes you're just like, really? Really? Oh,
Yeah.
no, you're off the list, then. Jeez.
You clearly have terrible taste, sir. Admiration retracted.
Exactly.
Well, I feel like I met so many people at Heroes Con and was kind of like, I introduced myself, and there's like one thing that I work on or I'm related to that people be like, oh yeah, I know that thing, but didn't really know me. And after the whole weekend, like one of the last people I went up to was Phil Noto. And I was just kind of introducing myself, and I got halfway through my sentence. He's like, oh my God, like, I love your comics. And I just stood there kind of like, why? Stop. No.
Well, dude, like speaking of Phil Noto, like Phil Noto came to find me and Kevin at Heroes.
Wow.
And I was just like, really? Like, I understand Kevin, but really?
You guys are all amazing.
Oh,
I watched quietly from the corner with
I don't think the only reason Phil talked to me was because Kevin had like a line. So I think he just like killing time with me.
We all made some sales because Kevin had a line, okay? Like that was part of the best friend strategy.
It was the same thing for me at Special Edition in New York because I was sitting right next to Mike Del Mundo. So he had a huge line, so I was just talking to people waiting to meet him.
I've done that before. I love being tabled next to people with big audiences.
Sitting between Kevin Wada and Babs Tarr is like not great for your self-esteem.
Oh my God.
But if you can suck it up, you can sell a couple prints. You can make it.
Well, I was thinking, Jake, we just need to make Sailor Moon stuff, so then we get the residual like overflow sales.
I think we should make a full-on Sailor Moon zine, but that's just me.
Oh yeah, I think if the four of you did even thematic prints or something, like, each of you doing a different Sailor Scout or a different incarnation or something, like, people would want that. I would want that.
That would actually be if we all did one apiece, that actually be kind of cool.
That'd be really cool.
Let's do it.
Now we're just gonna be fighting for who gets what.
You can even like each doing like a different season, or because you got 5 scouts, so you don't. There's 4 of you, so that doesn't work. But Sailor Moon R, Sailor Moon S, Stars.
I'm pretty sure Babs will take 2 for herself.
Yeah, because that's kind of her jam.
I don't think any of us will be allowed to get Moon. So
yeah, no, Babs can have 2.
and dictate which ones we get to draw.
I'm guessing
in all likelihood.
Jake could get Mercury.
I do love Mercury.
What would you want, Kevin? Mars?
I'd rather have Mars, I think. But...
And I'd probably take Venus.
Done.
So then Babs can get Moon and Jupiter.
Jupiter's my favorite.
Well, then there you go. You got Babs doing it. Jeez.
Well, I like them all, but Jupiter I always liked. Same as how I liked Sporty Spice, because I would find the butchest character in whatever girl group and be like, yeah, that's me, the one who's taller.
I always found the one with the shortest hair.
That's fair. I think you should do it. I think this is...
I just like the nerdy ones. It's like dateable.
No, I think that would be great. I think it's really neat that you guys kind of have formed this society or like little group.
Society.
Cult.
Or cabal.
We should make rings that all combine into a circle.
That'd be cute. It looked like a little pizza slice.
Yeah, we're like Wonder Friends.
I'm just here to foster these ideas.
And try to not get too uncomfortable when we talk about our future jewelry, our hypothetical Illuminati jewelry. It's cool.
I don't know what hypothetical you're thinking, man. We're doing this.
Okay.
I think that would be great. So, I guess this is sort of a person-by-person question, but like, what other stuff are you guys working on? Right now. Obviously, you can't always talk about everything, but what's next? I guess.
Kris.
So.
Yeah, it's hard with a group of people.
Yeah, I'm on Uncanny X-Men indefinitely right now.
That's awesome.
That's always who knows how long that overlasts, but that's the plan. Like they've already tried to give me another title to do, and I just turned it down because I'm so tired of jumping around. I'm still on X Factor covers. I just wrapped up the cover for issue 16, and now we're in the talks of doing a sexy Quicksilver cover.
Ooh.
So we can get that on the books. doing a cover for Miss Marvel, and it sounds like I'll be doing a few more covers for Miss Marvel later on.
Nice, man.
Awesome.
And I was just offered another redesign to do.
Shut up.
Okay.
Oh, no, keep talking.
Can you say who it is yet?
I cannot.
Balls.
But I have gotten quite a few requests for me to do this character before. So there is that. I think that's it for now. I can never keep track of it because they always just keep throwing shit at my, and I never know. Like the whole Colbert, the Colbert Report thing, like happened like in one night.
And
Oh my
Dazzler. I was meant to ask you about Dazzler.
Dazzler. The funny thing about Dazzler is that Bendis posted that the cover with Dazzler on it. I think the first night we were at Heroes Con.
Yeah.
So I was at dinner as I was getting all of the reactions to it, and this is before. I mean, of course, this is before the whole Batgirl thing came out. So Babs was sitting across from me, like listening to all of the reactions I was getting, and you could just see the face of terror on her.
Oh no!
I was getting destroyed. I was getting threats. I was getting like personal disappointment notes.
Wow.
Yeah.
They expected something better of me than to do this. And what just kind of like what you realize is that later on is that these are people who aren't reading the book. So they don't really know the context of what Dazzler is going through. They just see, oh, she went from disco to punk, and like that doesn't fit. But then the best thing about the Dazzler thing was that the next day and subsequent days after was that people would come up to me and tell me that women, I think all of them were actually women. They were telling me that as women who have survived traumas and abuse, that the idea that Dazzler would go total 180 just to deal with all the shit she went through fits perfectly. And just from that alone, like that makes up for literally someone saying to shoot me and Bendis on Facebook for this design. So
Wow.
Which I also don't understand why they tagged me in that. Like, I don't know why you want me to actually see that message, but you know.
That's my favorite is when people like make sure to CC you on their hate, like on Twitter and stuff.
It's like, what do you want me to do about this, dude? Like,
you're so thorough, guy. Good on you.
I want to like respond to you now. Like, should I just like, I'll throw you under the bus. I don't care. We'll get into this. So yeah, I mean, like, it's always like the few because I was talking to Dean Tripp about that too. And just kind of how, like, you know, the one response to something where it actually connects with them, it actually means something to them, makes up for literally everything else. So the Dazzler thing was a very interesting experience because it had been gradually getting to that point. Because like the Psylocke and the Storm designs were pretty well accepted, except I got a few just like, oh, you're just covering them up because blah blah blah. Things. And then the Wolverine one got a good like 50-50 hate because people just don't like anything happening to Wolverine.
Even I caught some internet hate for drawing Chris's Wolverine design in Miss Marvel.
Yeah, it just gets hate because it's just Wolverine. And then the Dazzler one was pretty hardcore. Like it was all just hate for like the first 3 hours.
That sucks.
Yeah.
I think it's fun, but I mean, I love that Storm one. The Storm one's great. So I don't know. You never know, right? You never know.
Exactly. Yeah. And so when I got the new one, I was like, I emailed back the editors like after following the Dazzler thing, you really want everyone just to hate me now, don't you? just keep throwing me under the bus, man. Thanks. Like just get McKelvey to do it. No one will hate that. Oh, God.
It can't all be Batgirl, I guess.
It's not all Batgirls and smiles. It's just not.
Well, I think what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to take the Batgirl design and change the logo. Well, obviously it works. So
just write like spray paint Dazzler across the front of it in like glitter puffy paint, and then just use the exact same costume. It'll be fine.
Exactly. Yeah, no one will care. It's always good.
Make the Doc Martens sparkly.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because like you're hanging out with Babs and you're saying something like this, and she's like, "You guys, come on, being famous and well loved is not hard."
Well, then I also love like just how stressed out Babs was about like the reaction that she was going to get, and literally none of it happened.
It's a huge love bomb.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah.
we were at San Diego, and she goes like, like everyone really likes the designs, but I got some hate. I was thinking like, oh, what I wouldn't give for just some hate. Like that sounds really nice to me right now.
Yeah, that explosion was kind of, I mean,
That was nuts.
it was insane.
Jesus.
It's insane. And like I bought a pair of those yellow Doc Martens. I'm not too proud. But like just to see that outpouring. I mean, I've been pretty actively, obsessively involved in comics social media for the last couple of years, and I have never seen a response like that.
I was so happy.
Yeah.
I was so
Yeah.
thrilled to see that happen.
It was crazy. So you never know, right? You never know what's gonna
I'm just
hit.
standing there kicking the dirt. Like God, it gotta be her. Jeez.
I think you're doing all right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Kris,
Kris,
you
I think
okay?
you're fine, buddy.
Yeah.
It's funny too because I felt like weirdly protective of like not necessarily Babs, but like the sanctity of that Batgirl reactions. Like anytime I was hanging out with like a group of friends and some dude would be like, I don't know, you guys, I think it's pretty. Like, shut your damn mouth. It's Batgirl and it's gonna save us all. Just be cool.
Yeah, I had a similar interaction with like one person in my circle who posted something snarky about, Babs's comment about it being like flirt and fashion, and he was like, this is dumb, and I was just like, this isn't for you. Every
your hands
other
off my
comic
toy.
is for you. Let us have this.
Yeah, that's something I always find really curious. It's just like some people are not able to just remove themselves from something that is clearly just not for them.
As if you literally can't share your toys.
Yeah, it's like not everything has to be for you, and that's fine. You don't have to always have a piece of the pie when you have, a whole different pie to yourself already.
Mm-hmm. So Jake, what other stuff are you working on?
Oh,
I mean,
after
Necropolis.
the Spider-Verse thing, I have a late cover for Miss Marvel to finish.
Perfect.
I have I wrote and penciled an Adventure Time short for Boom like forever ago, and haven't been
nice.
able to ink or color it, and so I'm really excited to do that. And then I'm doing Necropolis with two publishers. I have a foreign and a domestic publisher, and I just got my advance from my foreign publisher, but I don't think I can say who they are yet.
Okay.
Oh my
But I'm starting that in September, and I'm
I
hoping
I think just saying foreign publisher, I think you're pretty much good. It's
and
kind of a
That's
big deal.
you guys can't see it, but I did brush some dirt off my shoulder when I said that.
You douche. Oh my God.
But yeah, so I'm starting that like full time in September, and then we're going to see if anybody likes it. And if people like it, I will probably do it in perpetuity. And if people don't like it, I will find another job. That's what I will do.
So for people who don't obsessively follow your Tumblr, what is it about?
It is about a girl with a sword. Her name is the Third Sword. It sounds like a metal concept album, which is funny because like I'm not that guy, right? Like I'm not like angry Wyatt or whatever. But like it's about this chick. She's called the Third Sword, and she's roaming this sort of post-apocalyptic doesn't really cover it because it's not an apocalypse as we know it. It's a warped and twisted version of her world, and she's killing these kind of like demiurges who infest it. So like it's a world infested with errant gods, and she's putting them down and making it right. And over the course of the comic, you find out why and who she is and what her relationship is to these things.
Cool.
And she does it with a sword and probably a lot of one-liners. And I apologize in advance for that, but
So that sounds
Still watch a ton
awesome.
of 80s movies.
That sounds. So is that going to be a graphic novel or a single issue situation?
right, yeah. So right now it's planned as an ongoing series. It's going to come out in monthlies.
Cool.
But yeah, in France, it's going to come out in one volume graphic novel.
Right, because that's how they do it over there. So
or whatever
classy.
they call it.
They already
Yeah.
have hardcovers for Saga over there.
Awesome.
I know. I have one of my closest friends, Hélène, is in France right now. She's French and in France, surprisingly. And every time she goes, she always sends me these photos from comic book stores, and everything that's in like, crappy $17 softcover here is in like beautiful hardbound editions in France.
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
very jealous.
No, they're so hot. Every time I go to a con, I seek out stewarding and like raid his booth. Like I dropped so much money there this time and read all my French comics before my English ones.
Nice. Yeah, I'm really happy that I can read French enough that I can read French comics.
Yeah, with pictures to help, I can get through it.
Yeah, exactly. Kevin, what other stuff are you working on that you can talk about? Because I've seen a lot of stuff that you can't talk about.
I know. See, okay, since I am so green, I have no idea how you know what you can and can't talk about.
I just feel like if it's already been online.
Posted online, yeah.
Trust your heart.
So let the powers that be release it, and then I know I can talk about it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So then I have nothing. I have 0 things to talk about.
You have the Teen Titans variant. Is it Teen Titans? What, you're doing a variant or something.
I am. I don't know if I can talk about that though.
It's been solicited.
Oh, it has?
Yeah, Kris knows about it.
Oh my gosh. See,
It
I
was
don't.
solicited last month.
Oh, okay. Yes, I will be doing a Teen Titans variant for DC. So I am dipping my toe in the other pond now. Joining Babs for a second. And what else? More She-Hulk. I'm excited for the next 3 issues that are going to be coming out for that one because it's a pretty special kind of mega image that they released the 9th issue, even though the next issue is the 8th, because I think they wanted to lead with that cover. But it's going to be pretty cool, I think. And what else? I guess it's a lot of stuff that I'm trying to like make my way through, so it'll be a while before they're announced. But it's an exciting time. Like I have a lot of work on my plate, and that's good because it's not always like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen some stuff that's.
yeah, you have. You've seen a lot.
I've seen some stuff. I feel like, well, I mean, okay, so I'm good friends with Jamie McKelvey, and so when he and Kieran were tweeting yesterday and like being super vague. It's just being like, hey, there's a thing. And then I immediately texted Jamie. I was like, send this to me now. And now it's my phone wallpaper. And no one will see it. I won't check my phone in public. It's fine.
Nice.
Can't let anybody see that.
Nope. It's secret.
Okay, you're friends with them. Do you have any idea when they're going to announce that?
I don't know. I mean, usually in the schedule of, like, if they've just got that, then it'll probably be about a month. I mean, Image or whatever publish. I don't know what you're talking about.
Certain unnamed publisher.
Person are usually faster than some other publishers because I mean, at Boom, sometimes God, I drew a Fiona and Cake cover 6 months before it got in previews. So
I've sold 3 covers to Boom, and I've seen none of them. I've seen none of my covers ever.
Well, I mean, just so I want to rope all of you into Bravest Warriors, and I'm going to try and make that happen. I just keep being like, hey, hire my friends, please.
It's a great policy, though. Hire my friends is a great policy.
It's working out pretty well so far.
Foolproof.
So, okay, the last 2 things that I want to address are you should have seen like 3 to 4 of the costumes at the Katy Perry concert that I went to last week. Because I thought of each of you in separate ways. Because Kris and I had been talking about it and just our love of pop divas. But Jesus, like I've never seen so many costume changes in a concert in my life. It was incredible.
How many did she do?
At least 8. So
I'm about that.
It was incredible.
That's a lot of downtime, though, no? Or like a lot of time when she's not on the stage?
Well, there are a lot of times when it would, like, she changed fast, where it would be like a poof of smoke, and then some background dancers would do some distracting things, and then she would come out in a totally different outfit. But she had this one for birthday that was like this sheer bodysuit, but that had these huge symbols on it, and the whole thing was covered in rhinestones.
Yeah.
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah. So it was pretty incredible. Which I bring up only because Kris was talking about it, and also because Kevin, I'm a big fan of your pop diva reimaginings, especially the Azalea Banks one. That was really fun.
I'm happy with that way that one came. I'm actually working on 2 more right now.
Are they Kesha?
They're both Kesha.
It better be.
You guessed it, Kris.
Yeah.
Better be goddamn Kesha.
I was talking about how I want to see Kesha from any of you, really. Jake, get on that.
I would love to see Jake do Kesha.
Oh, I would love to do Kesha. You guys, I won't tell you how many Kesha songs I can sing without the aid of like lyrics or music, but it's a lot. It's a lot
Wait,
of Kesha
really?
songs.
Really?
Yeah, really. And I will not do it. I will not do it on this podcast.
Just like name a few titles.
I did not know that.
Well, they're all the pop ones, right? Like they're all the ones that you know that like get on the radio. But my wife and I have a Kesha mixtape that we listen to in the car whenever we're sad and sing all the songs out loud.
That's
Oh
amazing.
my gosh.
I even emulate the slow mo as best I can.
This is the most I've ever liked you right now.
And now we're real friends.
I'm a
Finally.
really big fan of Gold Trans Am. I listen to that a lot.
That's a good.
It's pretty great. Okay, so that was kind of a sidebar. I have been thinking about it a lot. And if there was ever a group of people that I was going to be like, you would not believe the costume changes at this Katy Perry concert, surprisingly, it would be this group of people.
We appreciate that.
Thank you. And the last thing that I want to ask, kind of gearing up towards the end of this beautiful thing, is the thing that I always ask, that is, what are you reading and liking? Like, what comics outside of the things that you're making are you enjoying right now that you would recommend?
Oh, Kris, do you wanna? Because I gotta think, man.
Okay, let's see. The Wake just wrapped up today, so there was that. That was pretty fun. Not sure how I feel about the ending yet. I'm still thinking on it. Velvet is probably my favorite thing I'm reading right now.
So good.
Southern Bastards is fantastic. I have yet to read the second issue of Outcast yet, but that first one was fantastic.
Yeah.
I've been enjoying Coffin Hell. It's a little dragging for me right now, but I liked that first arc a lot, so we'll see where that one goes. American Vampire, obviously. A bunch of X-Men titles. Like, Jake likes to give me shit. The fact that I kind of help it along too, but I predominantly read Marvel, but I actually do read quite a bit of Image and Vertigo. There you go, Jake.
Hey.
I've been loving Magneto. Magneto's incredible. All new X-Men. Just for Stuart Immonen. I'll basically read anything that Stuart draws. I loved the first issue of Storm.
I haven't read it yet. I'm such an idiot. It was like one of the few things I forgot to pick up.
It was perfect because I'm kind of going into it. I mean, I know why there's a Storm series, but like I don't really. I was going into it like not knowing why there's a Storm series. You know what I mean? So that first issue just kind of like cemented me of like, just like, yeah, this needs to be around.
Right.
Wicked and Divine I've loved a lot so far. Just for Lucifer alone, I can just read Lucy all the time.
You would.
I really want to cosplay that, but I can't wear white.
Why?
Because I'm afraid of wearing white. I've been goth since I was like 12. I can't do it. But now that I have the hair, there's like nothing I could dress up as.
You really do have the hair for it.
Yeah, you have to do that.
I can do a really good like smoky eyes too. So
It's cosplay. You don't have to wear it around.
yeah, it's true. It's true. But then I feel like an idiot because it's like, oh, my friend draws this. So it's like, hey, I'm that thing that you make. Hey, this is cool. I do really want to, though.
You can only do that if you talk like that.
Yeah.
The whole time.
Just post a video. Hey, Jamie, this is whatever. Hey, Kieran.
Kind of like kicking the ground, just like looking off to the side all the time.
Yeah, just being like, this is stupid. It's whatever. I don't know. Really embodying the character.
Yeah. Totally.
Kevin, what about you?
What am I reading? I mean, other than She-Hulk, I'm catching up on Saga.
You read your own book?
I read my own book.
There's nothing wrong with that.
And he doesn't make the insides; he makes the covers.
Yeah.
It's very
I like
different.
to be informed about what's going on in there. What else? I don't know how you guys have so much time to read things. I don't have as much time as you guys, apparently.
I just take a lot of planes. I read on planes a lot.
That's a good one. I'm actually I have a lot of old stuff. Like I'm trying to go get through year one. I just finished Dark Victory, and I've been reading a few artists, like art book biography things lately too. So that's kind of outside of comics, but it's been on my plate.
So learned.
I love those books, though. I love like the art of books.
Yeah, they're great. I mean, they're so thick. They have so many beautiful images in it. I'm reading this one on Harry Bush. Do you know who that is?
No.
He did gay erotica. He was kind of like not the anti-Tom of Finland.
Okay.
If that's ringing bells. But he sort of like came up at the same time in the 70s, and he does these beautiful male nudes. And so I'm reading his kind of biography right now too.
I got a Tom of Finland book as a gift at one point and didn't know what it was. And it's delightful.
Someone gifted that to you?
Yeah, I can't remember who. Someone was like, I saw this and I thought of you. Like when I saw these images of really beefy gay dudes in like really tight pants, I thought of you.
Yeah.
Just like, okay, cool, thank you. You get me.
Like, I don't.
Because I really like his stuff, and I really like Maurice Velacoop. I don't know if any of you guys know his stuff. He does like it's way more cartoony, but it's a lot of gay pinup stuff, and it's really fun. He's really good.
I'll check him out.
Yeah, I feel like you might be into it. It's definitely definitely a lot closer to a simplistic style, but that same sort of beefcakes. But that are they all have like perfectly rosy cheeks. It's adorable.
How wholesome.
Not wholesome. It's inappropriate. Don't look at it in public.
Gotcha.
But he's very great. Well, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And last?
Okay, so...
Get ready, guys.
It's gonna be a bunch of words that I don't know.
No, I read a lot of the Image stuff, right? Like I read Saga and Prophet and Outcast. Prophet's so good. I wrote down SB and I don't know what that is.
Southern Bastards?
There you go. No, that's exactly what that is. Yeah. Been reading Southern Bastards.
You wrote that just like 5 minutes ago.
The French the French stuff I've been reading is like Last Man, which is a Bastien Vives comic, and it starts as Karate Kid and then ends up as Mad Max, and it's amazing. Kairos, which is that one that had like the dragon people, like that animated trailer that everybody lost their shit about a little while ago. I've been reading like a lot of zines from Secret Headquarters in LA, like Malachi Ward's stuff, Michael DeForge's stuff, Sam Alden's stuff, the Mignolaverse. I read a webcomic called Witchy, which is super good. Everybody should read. Emily Carroll's new book, which is like
God, so
Through
good.
the Woods. So good. She's so good.
Oh, she's so good.
She makes me want to die. I read a lot of... Oh, go ahead.
I have talked about her on every episode of this podcast so far.
How could you not? Like, how could you not?
I'm such a fan.
I think about Emily Carroll comics like a lot. Like I'll just like be in bed and be like, his face all red was so good.
It's so
I
good.
wish I could read that again for the first time, and I'll just like think about it.
Did you ever, or have any of you played Gone Home?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gone Home was good.
Yeah, because she did a lot of the art and like the text and stuff for that, which is really cool.
I did not know that.
Yeah. She was really, fairly heavily involved because I think her wife Kate is a game designer.
Okay.
And I know she had something to do with. I know she did like a lot of the handwritten text, and I know she had done some of the art. Because if you look through it, you can kind of tell in a couple places, which is why I played it.
Okay.
And it's so that was really cool. I don't know. I like people in webcomics seeing their stuff show up in other different places. But yeah, that book is crazy good.
Is killed. I just played a text game on my phone called A Dark Room that felt if Emily Carroll and Brandon Graham made a text game.
That would be amazing.
It was really good. I cannot recommend it enough. Oh, and I read a lot of Shonen Jump, and I read a lot of One Piece.
Did you ever see sorry, the thing that Emily and Brandon did that was the reinterpretation of that Betty and Veronica comic?
It was amazing.
So good.
Yeah, I saw it on Brandon's blog, Tumblr, something.
I have like an absolute fascination with the weird complexities of Archie comics. So when someone, it's just one of those things that like you're so surprised you haven't heard of it, you know? Like, oh, here's two artists I really love that, did a comic based on that thing I also really love. And it's just like, no, I'd never heard of it. Someone said to me one day. It was very exciting.
I want to see more weird Archieverse stuff. He thought he'd never say, like Archie Afterlife was so good, and all the weird Archie fan stuff I've seen. Like I've never really seen it in that light, but I would buy a weird Archie comic every month. For the
Afterlife with Archie is incredible. That 6th issue is like mind blowing. I cannot believe how good that comic is. It's so good. It's so weird. I'm so glad it exists.
I literally bought it because the cover was orange.
Yeah.
I was like, this is a good orange. I'm going to buy this. And then I read it and freaked out and tried to make my wife read it. And she's like, no.
Okay, so I'm going to come towards wrapping it up. Are there any other shows or things that you guys want to specifically point out before I let you go?
I don't know.
No?
I don't know. No, I think
everyone's
talked about
post SDCC.
Yeah.
Okay, so if people want to find you guys online, Kevin, you're at Kevin Wada on Twitter? Am I right about that?
That's me.
Is it the same on Tumblr?
Yes.
All right. And Jake?
Yeah, I'm at Jake Wyatt Riot, which is what it is, on Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram.
That's easy. And Kris?
Just at Christopher Anka, and then all of the places. It's simple enough.
Awesome. I feel really proud because I gave Kris his new Twitter name.
Yeah,
Cross Uncle is the best one yet.
I have never heard that alteration of my name in my life.
It was super inspired, Kate.
Thank you. I think I was fairly drunk at the time. And...
I actually gasped and put my hand over my mouth when I saw it.
I mean, that's the only name I respond to anymore.
Cross Uncle. It's perfect. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. This is an exciting experiment into talking to a whole group of people.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for coming.
It's been so much fun. I never get to hang out with these guys all at once except at cons.
See? I'm all about bringing people together.
Yeah, it's the first time since Heroes.
Mm-hmm.
Was it good for you?
It was.
It's just the best.
I'm going to go smoke a cigarette.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you guys. I hope I look forward to seeing more of the Super Best Friends Club. I hope that you continue to go to shows and I can sneak my table near you.
We have Emerald City we're going to try for, Heroes definitely, and then we're shooting for San Diego next year too.
Yeah, I hope I can actually go next year. That'd be awesome.
Better.
Do it.
I'll do it. All right. Thank you guys so much.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
I know that you want to the pages inside my heart.
Well, that is all for this week, and what an awesome time it was. I am off to Boston Comic Con, which is August 8th to 10th in Boston, as you might assume. I am table D221, and I am very much looking forward to this show. I go to Boston a couple times a year, and it is always a great time. If you liked the episode, or if you didn't, okay, just if you liked the episode, would you mind rating and reviewing us on iTunes? Or if you're listening to us on Stitcher, you can do it there too. It means a lot to us. You can follow Less Than Live on Twitter at LTLcast or on Tumblr at Less Than Livecast. You can download songs, you can listen to the podcast on villagesoundcast.com. And if you need any more information, you can tweet at me. I'm at Kate Leth. Thank you so much for listening. I'll miss you.
Hey, you. This was a Village Soundcast Network original production.
Yeah, I like some Canadian comics. Yeah, you ever heard of somebody called Wolverine? Cha. Snicked.